Cool. Now, I'm here with Premier Padel's Head of Broadcast, Holly Flatley, and Julia Boettger, Sky Deutschland's Director of Operations. So two super fantastic women. Thank you so much for joining us. And obviously that was a brilliant sizzle reel from Premier Padel. Now, let's start with you, Holly. So Premier Padel's a new, emerging, exciting sport that's taking Europe and the rest of the world by storm. Tell us about a potted version of your broadcast strategy and how that is aiding the growth of your fan base, because it is relatively new but very fast moving.
Yeah, so it's the world's fastest growing sport. We've got major broadcast deals across 224 territories. We stream all men's and women's matches live, and then we have a major broadcast partner, Red Bull, who then have a huge reach. They're free to access, so they take over from the quarterfinals onwards. So alongside that, we then create a lot of content, so highlights, play of the day, lots of offerings for the digital team to try and engage the audience and really relay the athleticism and the creativity that happens on the court.
Brilliant, cool. And then looking over to Julia, what's Sky Deutschland's strategy on sports broadcast now and for 2026? So what are you focusing on and why?
So we are lucky to extend all our major rights. So we had a pretty busy summer. We were focusing, of course, on Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2 and trying to get our customer closer to the game. So we were working a lot with the DFL, the German Bundesliga, so to get even more access to do some work on the dressing room filming, also some nice drone shots that we got in. Also during the 90 minutes, so that was amazing. And then, even getting more also on social media. So we were working on a new social media show. Then we have a new watch-along for the Saturday game. So a lot of more content, more UHD, more Dolby Atmos. So really focusing on Bundesliga and Bundesliga 2. Mm-hmm. But also earlier this year, we did a lot of work on the Formula 1. So together with our colleagues from Sky UK and also Sky Italia, so we insourced the operation and now taking that in-house and working even closer with our colleagues from FOM, which has been great so far. Mm-hmm. So the season is almost over, so it went pretty smooth, and the team is really happy with that. So that is the strategy. Is to summarize, it's on extending the rights and making it work and even closer with the federations and leagues to get more access.
Yeah, it's always about access, isn't it? Yeah. And also for you, how is women's sport on TV growing in Germany? Which sports are leading the curve for you? And how is Sky Germany supporting that growth through your broadcasting work?
So I don't know if you've seen it, but we had a really good start in the Women Bundesliga last week on Saturday. So it's really growing because the opening game was in the Allianz Arena in Munich, so with 57,000 people. So that's been a record. So the biggest game ever in Women Bundesliga so far, and there's more to come, hopefully. It's a lot around the football. Sky is proud to be the host broadcaster on behalf of the German DFB, the German FA. So we are taking care of 182 games now, together also the bigger games with our colleagues from NEP. Mm-hmm. So whenever it comes to the bigger games, then we're going to work with them, and also the smaller games. We are running our own OB fleet, so we are using that one. It has been growing, and it's literally growing because also 2 new clubs were added to the league, so they were growing from 12 now to 14 teams, and also with large teams coming in like HSV, so Hamburg is, they have a big fan base there, and also Union Berlin, so the stadiums are full, and we had a really good start. But we not only have football, we also have like the ladies golf tour, WTA, of course, the F1 Academy. So wherever there is an opportunity, the women's side of the game is also added.
Fantastic, really good. And then looking at Premier Padel, how's the women's game growing there?
Yeah, so the women joined in 2023, March I think it was. So they're rising. They're very much on the same platform as the men. So they, scheduling wise, they play on the same courts. It's alternate matches. So they're very much it's seen as very much a togetherness. There's also IPA, which is like the Players Association. So we work very closely with them to educate and how to improve the women's visibility, how they become brands, how to get sponsorship. Particularly from my side, I'm encouraging English because a lot of the interviews are still in Spanish, which on a world feed you need English and you need to kind of obviously sell yourself globally. So it's me educating not only in the stadium but around.
Because it's huge in Spain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge.
Massive.
Yeah, and it's obviously we want to keep those markets and keep appealing there, but we also are trying to get a global reach and appeal around the world. And so we've got a lot of work happening there. And then in terms of kind of my team, I'm getting a lot of... so we have a great female commentary team, and reporting team who, it's equal again. So we're very much, they work on the men's and women's matches. So yeah, I think that the women's players are very much with one tour, and also with the ceremonies, it's a men's and women's ceremony together. So everything's very much grouped together.
That's very innovative. Yeah,
It's not what women's final, it's women's final and the men's final on one day. So we try and very much keep that as a tour. So
brilliant. That's really cool. And now for both of you, give us a state of the nation on where you see women's sport right now. Because I saw, the 2018 Women's World Cup as the tipping point where it finally sort of seemed to break through commercially and with fans as well. It suddenly got some significance going. And obviously it's growing like the clappers, as they say. So where do you see it being now, and what's moving it along, and what's going to keep it going, especially through with a broadcast kind of point of view in mind? Julia.
Yeah, I think it's only going up. So we had some records already last year with big audience on our platform for the DFB Cup, which is the Women Cup, which is getting more and more interesting. And they had some, nice rivalry on that one, on the Hamburg versus Bremen, which is a big derby in Germany. So that got a big record, and it's only going up. That's what we see. And with all the games, even more games and bigger clubs coming in, I think the next season will be a record season again.
Cool. Holly?
Yeah, and I've seen, we're getting a lot more presence from broadcasters on site who are also wanting to engage very much so with the women and the men. It's not one versus the other. We've got huge crowds at the venues, same for women, actually sometimes more so than the men's matches. So, and again, that's down to scheduling and really kind of giving that platform. So I think, it'll only continue to progress and improve.
Cool. Holly, do you think the boom in women's sport that's happened in recent years, all that trailblazing done by the likes of football and rugby, is helping women's paddle in a way, because they don't have to, it's like being the older sister, isn't it? You've done the fighting, so your younger sister gets to go out in shorter skirts and stuff without being told off at a younger age. So, I was the older sister. So, please answer that question.
Yeah. So it's definitely role models, and I think certainly the paddle players, they have got those role models within other sports, and that's what I'm trying to now help to create within our sport. So get those role models for, we've got some top players who will come up to retirement, so when they retire then, they can continue to further their careers, but also in a different way, but also try and bring up the younger ones to show, this is what we've achieved and we have this sponsorship, so, yeah.
Cool. And then for both of you as well, what more can broadcasters and federations do to aid the growth of women's sport through TV, whether it be a rapidly growing younger sport like paddle or a very quite established sport like football, women's football?
I think,
and you're allowed to criticise other broadcasters, that's okay,
You can't ignore it because you are attracting a younger fan base, and they will be your future customers. So for us as a pay TV business, I think it's important to focus also on new customer groups. So that's why it's also not only because of the women game, it's a business model, isn't it? For us it is. So it also attracts big sponsors, like for example, for the Bundesliga you have the Google Pixel, which is the naming for the Google Pixel Frauen Bundesliga, and they do a lot of work with that as well. So we had also some nice new innovation last week on the first game with the Pixel Cam. I don't know if you've seen that. So they were even adding more cameras with their Pixel phone to the main broadcast to bring it also the fan experience into the main broadcast, into the world feed. So you're like shifting the perspective, and that's got a huge interest also, from probably like we never made it into the Vogue before, but there was an article on the Vogue on the Pixel Cam, so that will also attract other people that haven't been in touch, for example, with women football. So yeah, it's a business model, and to the question how can we help the growth, of course we need to have proper budgets and need to work on the details. And even if you have like only a regular game has 4 cameras, but then you need to spend more time to work out the storytelling. And when we started that project, we had a nice cooperation also with the colleagues from HBS, with the HBS Academy, that really helped us to get the most out of just 4 cameras. You can still make a great world feed out of that.
Totally.
And it helps that the people that are in that project, they do it week by week by week, so they know it inside out, and that's how we professionalize it. Even if you don't have the biggest budget, you can still make a great show and a great fan experience out of that.
Absolutely, and the sponsorship deal is very interesting. It's like an unusual sponsor, and their involvement in the world feed is cool, quite cool. That's like that sort of thing doesn't normally happen.
They have really great ideas. I don't know if any Google people are here, but we are really lucky because we're also learning, what we are doing there maybe can be copied into other competitions, even bigger competitions, because it's that fan experience thing that makes, for example, women football extraordinary. When you go to a game, the match day experience is different, and you can cover that with the phones and also transport that into, the living rooms of everybody else that is not there.
Fab. And Holly, what about for you?
Yeah, so I think for us, we're jostling with the big players, and so, the prime time spots are obviously what everybody wants. And as we're growing and emerging, we're fighting for those places. But I think so scheduling's a huge thing. Also, paddle can go on for hours and hours. So not everybody has that time on their channels. So if there's slots for highlights and, shorter form content that broadcasters can be showing, and to get our reach and still show our sport. So I think there's other ways that we can work together to try and further us on. So
fantastic. And now we're lucky to have both of you on stage, 2 very senior women in live sports broadcasts. So it would be remiss of me not to ask how you did it. So let's start with you, Julia. Tell us about your career path and what has got you here today.
So I've studied media and information management back at the days, and then was trying to get into kind of an internship in TV because I had a teacher working in TV on a side business. So she said that's going to be great. And where I was living in Franconia in Würzburg, don't know if you know that, but there is no TV station that I could have get an internship in. So I was trying really hard. Then I got an internship at BMW instead. So I started there, and then that wasn't for me. You know, sometimes it's like it's just a proof that it's not for me. So yeah, I moved on, and the next internship I got at a science TV show and started with that one. Really liked that, and then came from one thing to the next, and then suddenly end up in sports. So my first job was at like a startup pay TV channel.
Cool.
That got bankrupt after 12 months. So that was the start of the career, and then they set us all free, kind of. And after like 2 or 3 months, I could join the one who was taking over. So I have a bit of experience now with takeovers. So I could start there, and then, I had the chance and the opportunities, and also, like Lisa said, embrace the opportunities to get into several roles, and just didn't plan for that. But then I did some ice hockey, some Formula One. Really enjoyed my time at the Champions League, traveling, and then, got the chance to take over kind of a responsibility for a smaller team, and now, we were growing to even a bigger team. So that's how I got into that. That's how I got onto this chair.
What is it about your job now that you love doing?
I love working with people. I don't like to be on stage, but I love working with people, because there's so many nice people inside of the company and also outside of the company, new people that I haven't knew before. So it's the people thing of this kind of game that I enjoy.
Fab, cool. And now, Holly, same to you. How did you get into your career?
Yeah, I had a squiggly start, I'd say. So I studied fashion and French, and weirdly did my French exam on doping in the Tour de France in French. And I got a job. My first job was with the ITF in anti-doping. So
cool.
There was a link there that came up, got the job. And then after a year and a half, a job in TV came up. So I ended up travelling quite quickly. I was thrown into it, really. I didn't do any running roles. It was right, off you go. I think my first event was in the Ukraine, I think. And so I moved on. I was there for about 18 months again, and then I moved into an agency called Pitch. So they have a variety of sports. I worked on FA Cup and the Six Nations, and again, lots of travelling. And then I wanted to do a stint in Australia, so I decided to move out to Australia. Didn't have any intention of working in TV, actually, and then I ended up getting a freelance thing on the cycling and volleyball. And then that progressed, and it took me on to work on the Tour de France and back to the cycling and the Giro. And then, I just got contacted about, do you want to set up the broadcast for this thing called Padel? And I was like, well, what's Padel? So, but having worked on all those sports, I was like, perfect, I know broadcast, I don't know the sport, but I'll learn it quickly. And then it's kind of gone from there. So.
And what motivates you about your job? What do you love about?
Similar to you, I love working with people. I love sport. I've played loads of sports. I'm now a massive paddle fan, so I'm addicted, obsessed. So I love trying to relay how much fun I have on court to everybody else. So, you see those shots happening, you're like, I'm going to go and try that. I get nowhere near, but it really pushes me on. So.
Fantastic. And then last question for both of you. I don't know who wants to take it first, but what advice would you give to women looking at a career in sports broadcasting today?
I would say I've really enjoyed and making relationships. And when I first started out, I made sure I sat with everybody, kind of, the engineer, the graphics person, everybody, to kind of say, what are you doing? How do you do that? And just to get an understanding. And then bit by bit, as you go on, you make these relationships. So trying to really form those key relationships, because there's been a few times, I haven't seen you in 7 years, or, and I think that's really helped me. So, and I've felt really supported, and it helps you in your day-to-day. So.
Fab. Thank you. And Julia?
So I would say it's fun. Yeah, it's just fun. I never had like a boring week. Of course, there is not every day is the super funniest day, But if you compare it also to other jobs, and also at my time at BMW, what they were working on, so we are so lucky that we can work on things that others do for their pleasure, and we can work on that every day. And it's so fast moving. Every day you learn something new, and that's what I would give as an advice. Just enjoy that, and enjoy the fun. It's really fun.
Enjoy the fun. It's really fun. It is. It is. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, both of you. You can run away. You can go. Cool. Put your mic on your chair again. Okay. Thank you so much to Lisa and NEP Europe for supporting us here, and also to Holly and Julia for volunteering after their arms were twisted to come on stage today. They did super.